Hey, what's up guys? I'm Praetorian and welcome to today's vlog, the first vlog on the channel in a very long time. It's been so long that I would assume that many of you don't even know what I look like. Well, this is the face behind the voice. This is what I look like. And actually just went to the barber today and got all prettied up. I got my hair cut, which is essentially just shaving it all off at this point because I don't really see the point on trying to keep some type of style to it, considering the fact that I'm pretty bald up on the top at this point. But yeah, I got my beard cut as well. It was a lot longer. I cut off about maybe 3-4 inches. Yeah, all that 3-4 inches I just had cut off. Just kind of shape it a little bit better because it's getting kind of raggedy, honestly. Definitely had a very natural, unkept look to it. Yeah, it's been a very long time since the last vlog, guys. I think it was summer of 2019. So we didn't do a single vlog for the entire year of 2020. Of course, 2020 was a very strange and difficult year. Very difficult year. Before we go any further, I know that some people are going to be here because I had talked about doing a vlog about the political situation, my feelings regarding it, and why I'm going on a trip to DC this week here coming up. In fact, that's why we're not going to have any videos for the next week on the channel until I get back from DC. However, I'm going to do two separate videos because it has been so long since I did a vlog, so I didn't want to have the first vlog back being, very negative. And of course, politics are always going to be very divisive as well, no matter what you say. I've learned it's going to cause issues with some people. So yeah, I didn't want that to be the case for the first vlog that we've had in such a long time. So in this video, I will not be talking about politics or the trip to DC. If you're curious about that, like why I'm going, which and I try to make this clear because I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not going there to protest for Trump or anything like that. Just to make that clear. And that's the only thing I'll mention here in regards to politics. If you want to know why I'm going in more detail and my feelings regarding the current situation in the United States right now, then head over to that other video, which should be coming out either with this one or right after this one. I'm going to put them both up before I leave, actually, on Saturday. I'm recording this here on Friday night, so I know I'm going to get a lot of comments from you guys saying that I don't look anything like what you expected. I get that quite often. My voice does not match my face, which is odd for like when you do like a phone interview for a job. I had to do a phone interview for a job several years ago, and they were absolutely just shocked when I came in there because I was not what they expected. They weren't expecting somebody who looks like me to walk in that day. It is what it is. So one of the first things I'd like to talk about here in this vlog is I'd really like to thank everybody who supported our channel throughout the year of 2020, whether it's, watching our content and throwing a like on those videos, or if you're a supporter of the channel through Patreon or PayPal, or buying our merchandise through the Teespring store. Regardless of how you support the channel, I just want to put out there that HiJynx and I really appreciate your guys' support, particularly in this year, because it's been a rough year, guys, and I know that's been the case for everybody. I mean, it's 2020. It's been a very rough year with COVID and the situation that happened over the summer with the protest, and then what happened after the protest, and the election and what's happened since then. It was a really rough year, and it was particularly rough for us. Again, I know that that's the case for everybody. I know that everybody's had one of those years. We've had problems with our jobs. We've had, financial issues throughout the year, which is why I particularly appreciate those who have been able to continue the support. And I understand that like some people have lost their jobs, had their hours cut, and just had other issues with finances. So, I know a lot of people did cut off their Patreon support this year, and I fully understand that. You got to take care of you and your family first. But for those that did keep up the support, however you supported the channel, again, even just watching our content is a form of support that helps the channel. Just really, really appreciate you guys who have stuck around in this troubling year, because again, it's been really rough for us financially, and so it's just helped us out tremendously. So thank you to all of those who were able to continue supporting our channel in whatever means you end up doing so. And again, watching our content is a form of support that does help us out. Most of our money actually comes from ad revenue. So thank you to all of you patrons, all of you subscribers who have kept this content going through this really troubling year. And overall, I feel like we've had a pretty good year on the channel in regards to content. I've I'm enjoying what we've been playing. CK3 came out. I've been enjoying a lot of the games we've been playing throughout the year, whether it's the ones that Jinx and I do together on the console, or the ones that I've been playing, the strategy games that we've been playing on PC, whether it's, Hoi 4 or CK3. But yeah, I really enjoyed the content that we've been doing this year. I've been having fun with the channel. It's just been, again, just kind of been a rough year because of ad revenue being down and views being down and subscribers being much lower than usual. So yeah, just a very rough year overall, and it just kind of makes you really appreciate what you have, I think. And one of the really nice things about 2020 has been the amount of time I've been able to spend with my kids. They have been home from school for most of the year almost. They got let out of school for spring break like a week early, and then they didn't go back to school until I think September or something like that, August or September, like around the typical time that then they would normally go back to school. And even when they returned to physical learning, on-site learning, they didn't go for very long. They were constantly being sent back because of quarantines. A kid would get like a cold. I don't know that too many people had COVID in the actual school, but I know when they get a cold, they'd send like the whole class would go on quarantine for like 2 weeks. So there was like months of them just constantly going on and off quarantine, and then eventually they just sent them all home. I think it was in, I want to say November, maybe it was October. But I want to say it was in November. They just sent them all home, said, we're done. We're not going to do the physical learning. We'll come back in January. In fact, my kids are going back to school next week. For the first time in months, they'll be returning to the on-site learning. And while I will say that the distant learning is kind of a pain in the butt, you got to get up really early and essentially you're your kid's teacher. You gotta play a very large role in helping them with their lessons and helping them on the programs. And they kind of been changing it up a little bit. Like initially they had like a program that you did with your kid, which required like a lot of help from the parent. And then they eventually went to a format where the teachers were doing that, and the teachers walked them through that, and they had like lessons through through like webcam and stuff like that. And eventually became about as normal as it could get for distant learning, where they had like their specials in the morning, whether that's music or like a PE situation where they had to like do certain workouts, and the gym teacher was on webcam. And it got as about as normal as it could get for distant learning. And yeah, they've been doing that all year. And while of course it's definitely a pain in the butt, definitely an inconvenience, it's caused a lot of problems in our house. Since, because like most parents, our kids are in school all day, so we plan our day around that. Like I typically did the recordings before they came home, and then I would edit them after they went to bed. I'd edit them at night typically, get them uploaded and all that kind of stuff. So that definitely changed my recording schedule a lot, because I couldn't even start recording until the evening, which caused a lot of issues for me. And so overall, it was it was a little bit more than an inconvenience, I suppose. It definitely required us to completely change our lives up. But while that was a problem, I ended up spending a lot more time with my kids than I usually do, because they go to school Monday through Friday, and they spend all day there, and then they come home, they do their homework, and then I typically go to the gym in the evening before dinner, because I don't like to eat before I work out. I always work out typically on an empty stomach. I got those stomach issues, guys, which I'll mention something on that in a minute. But because of those stomach issues, I don't like to work out with any food in my belly. So I typically at least need 3 hours before I go to the gym. Since the last time I ate, around 4 to 5 hours is a little bit better. So I go to the gym at night right before dinner. And so on the Monday through Friday, I didn't spend that much time with my kids because they were, doing homework and at school and all that kind of stuff. So you got like a couple hours with your kids every day. Sunday, as you guys know, I work all day on Sunday. So really all I had every week was Saturday with my children. That was it. That's the only time I really spent a good amount of time with them. But since COVID, I've been here with them, all day if I'm not at work, So that's like, I only work, or I've only been working this year about 2 to 3 days per week. I went down to part-time, not by choice initially. However, I eventually, it was by choice, because when COVID happened, they asked me if I would go back to full-time. And at that point, it just wasn't even possible, even if I wanted to, considering the fact that I had to stay home with the kids while my wife was at work. But honestly, I didn't really want to return to full-time work. I mean, they cut my hours without really any notice. And I was still kind of irritated about that. And I didn't really feel like, coming and helping them out when they had kind of done me, and what I would say done me dirty by cutting my hours as they did with no real notice and stuff. So I didn't want to go back to full time hours, so I've been working part time, and so I've been spending 4, 5, sometimes even 6 days a week with the kids. So it's been really nice getting all that extra time with the kids, and that's been one advantage of COVID. And I'm trying to see the positive in what's happened over this year, because we can all talk about the negative all day. We can all recognize the fact that it was a rough year, but there was some good. Again, I got to spend all that time with my kids. And another great thing about 2020 for me has been last year. If you guys recall, I've been having stomach issues for years. I think it started when I was about 24. I started getting like acid reflux. It wasn't that big a deal. You take a little acid reducer pill and then you're good to go. But then it just proceeded to get worse and worse. Where every year I was having more and more problems, to the point where I couldn't live a normal life anymore. I was to a point where I was eating like just baked chicken, rice, and beans. That was essentially all I was able to eat. Very bland food, no spices, no seasonings at all, I should say. Couldn't have anything greasy. Again, there just wasn't very many foods I could eat. Crackers. I mean, there was not a lot of foods I could eat, and I was overall just kind of miserable because I didn't feel good. I was having trouble like keeping on weight. I think I dropped down. If you guys have been on the channel for a while, then you will recall when we first started this channel, when I was first kind of really dealing with these stomach issues, I had dropped down from 215 pounds all the way down to 165. So I lost a ton of weight because of the stomach issues. I couldn't keep the weight on. I eventually found a system to kind of help me out with that, so I can at least, stay at a decent weight. And I was kind of floating around 194, 195 was what I was staying at. And that's as good as it got. I just couldn't put on any more weight. But last year, if some of you guys were on the channel, you guys remember I was excited because I was finally seeing a doctor about my issues. And this was in 2019. And, they went into my stomach with cameras and they found one of the issues, and we got that fixed. So that was a big help. But I still have other problems, mostly IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. I essentially eat food and then I feel sick, and it just messes my stomach up, and it's just very uncomfortable every time I eat. And I've got some pills for that. I'm now taking 3 prescription pills for the different symptoms I have, with the IBS, and then some other issues, some other stomach issues that I'm having. So I take 3 different prescription pills right now, and overall, it's made my life so much better. Now, it's not perfect. I can't eat whatever I want. I still got to watch what I eat. But overall, definitely opened up my diet. Just improved my overall quality of life quite a bit. I can eat a lot more diversity of food, and having a lot easier time keeping on the weight. In fact, I'm now back up to my old weight, 214 pounds, so about a pound less. And most importantly, when I was 215 before, while I was, lifting weights and going to the gym, I was also eating a lot of food. I used to eat a lot, far more than I probably should have. There's probably a reason for my stomach issues, which is poor decision making. In my youth, it wasn't just eating like fast food and stuff. I'd eat good dinners, but it was the amount that I'd eat. Like I'd eat like a huge heaping plate of spaghetti, like we're just piled on there, so heavy that my wife couldn't even carry the plate, because I just pile the spaghetti on there and just pile the sauce and the meat on there. I also didn't do leg workouts. I didn't do any lower body workouts, so that weight was all upper body. And I also had a bit of a gut as well. I definitely had a bit of a gut there because I ate the way that I did. And so even though I'm about the same weight as what I was, back when I was in college, I am a lot more fit overall. I'm now doing like full body workouts. I actually work my legs out, which I don't enjoy doing. I don't really like the lower body workouts, but they are important so that your body remains proportional. And so overall, I'm not quite as large in the upper body as I was because I don't eat as much overall. I'm just more proportional. The lower body looks the way it should look compared to my upper body, and I'm stronger, and that's the most important thing. Back in college, I don't know what my max was because I didn't have a spotter back then, so I don't recall what my max was, and I didn't really test it very often. But for reps, I was doing like 225. That's what I would lift for each set. Do like 10 of 225 for each set. Now I'm starting at 275 and then I go down and I end at 250. So I'm stronger, I'm happier with the way I look. I have a better quality of life. I eat a greater diversity of food. And all this happened in 2020 because I started taking those prescription pills back at the end of 2019. And, it took a while for them to kick in. And so that's been one of the great parts of this year, 2020, is me just kind of getting back to my old self. So I try and look at the positives of the year, and those are mine. I got to spend more time with my kids, and the prescription pills I'm taking have made my life so much better. So that's what I want to hear from you guys now in the comments. I'd love to hear your positives from 2020 because we all know everybody's year, maybe not everybody's, but most people's year was rough. And we can sit here and talk about it and obsess about all the negatives and how bad things were. But what I really would like to know from you guys is what were the positives of 2020 for you? What went well? Maybe you got a new job and you're something you're happy with. Maybe you met somebody new, got a new love in your life. Or maybe you're a parent who got to spend more time with their kids and looks at that as a positive. I know some parents are sick of their kids and do not look at the lockdowns and the quarantines as a positive for the time they spent with their kids. I have some coworkers who are sick and tired of the kids at this point. I want to hear your positives, guys. Let me know what in 2020 went well for you, if anything, and I hope that's the case, that something went well for you guys. Stay in the comment section. I really want to focus on the positives, man. We could talk about the negatives in that other video I'm going to record. There's plenty of negatives to talk about, obviously, in 2020 and even into 2021 now, which just started, but already it's turning out to be a fantastic year. But I want to hear your positives on this video, guys. Tell me what went well for you in 2020. Let's move on. My kids are going back to school next week. My daughter is super excited. She loves school. She does very well in school, and she's just missing her friends. I've really felt bad for her, even though I've got to spend time with her, and that's been great. I have felt bad for her that she's been missing her friends, and so she's super excited about going to school next week, and she keeps checking every day. Has anything changed? Have they changed anything? Did they cancel it? So yeah, my daughter is really excited to return to school. My son, not so much. He does not like school. He can't stand school. He's really good at it. He's really, really smart. He's in all those, special classes, for the advanced students. He has like the advanced math class and the advanced reading class. So he's very, very good at school. He just doesn't enjoy it. And I can relate to that because I was that same way for forever. I mean, even when I was in college, I would say the same thing. And I'm really, really good at school. I just don't really like it that much. So that's not entirely correct. I did enjoy my time at the university in some aspects. I like some parts of it. I did have some fun there. I overall glad that I went, even if I'm not really using my degree for anything, career-wise. I'm glad I went. It was a good learning experience, a good, period for me to grow. I feel like I grew a lot as a person, changed a lot. Some of you guys know that I came from the Army. I joined the Army when I was 17 years old. My mom had to sign me in. I went in as soon as I was able to. I went and dropped out of high school, got my GED. I was living in a very bad home experience. I was in a group home, and it was kind of a really strict group home, and I'm a person who really values and enjoys his freedom. And so that group home did not work out for me. I was there for a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. This was in Pennsylvania, and I was not happy in that group home. And so I just wanted to get out as soon as I could. And I had moved around so much, so often, that they had lost some of my credits. And so when I was supposed to be graduating, they told me I'd have to do another semester. And so I was like, nope, I don't think so. I'm not coming back after the summer. And so I finished up the football season, which actually finished up into the next semester, which was supposed to be my last semester. And if it would have been, I would have finished high school, but I was not going to stay at the group home for a whole nother year, which is essentially what I would have had to do, a whole nother summer and a whole nother semester. And so I dropped out of high school as soon as the football season was over, and got my GED and joined the Army as soon as I possibly could. I served in the Army for a little over 3 years. After that, I did several odd jobs in between my next big job, which was working in corrections. I was a correctional officer at a maximum security prison in Texas, and that was an experience. That's all I'll say. I learned a lot about people. I'll say that. Overall, I was good at it. I was good at the job. It fit my personality. And I was a very rough teenager. I did a lot of fighting back in high school. And before that, I lived a very rough childhood, and that affects you. I came out of it with my issues, as anybody does that has, a bad childhood. And so my teenage years, I got in a lot of fights. I did a lot of fighting, and I was always told that you wouldn't be able to be like that in the real world, and it's true. You really can't for the most part. So I typically found jobs that allowed me to be myself, to be more aggressive, to be more violent, to be more physical. It's not always fighting and stuff. It's not always a violent thing. Sometimes it's just being more physical in a job not a job that makes me sit at a desk. I just never would have been that type of person that could have sat at a desk. And so yeah, I went into the army, and obviously that's the army. And then I went into corrections, which is a very, very aggressive job. I mean, you're surrounded by people who hate you all day. So that's a very aggressive job. It doesn't have to be. It depends on what position you go into. Because I was who I was, they did put me on the 5-man team, and so I would be running in on inmates all the time. Inmates who won't comply, and you got to get them to comply with orders. And so I was on a 5-man team, and those kind of jobs really fit me. And I did that for years. I was in the army for over 3 years. I did corrections for 3 years as well. And so when I quit at the prison to finally use my GI Bill, which was about to expire, I only had a few years left to use it. So I quit at the prison, and I went to use my GI Bill and go to college. And so that was kind of the biggest part of that for me, is learning how to integrate into society, into regular society. You can't be violent. You can't be fighting everybody. You can't be that type of person. And so that, I feel like, was one of the most useful parts of the university experience for me, is it civilized me. Overall, very happy that I did the college experience. I think it was good for me, very good for me. And I'm a very different person than I was when I started in college, which I was 24 years old. I think a few months from being 25. And so yeah, it was my first experience really, doing something in a normal setting, a setting that isn't the army, isn't a prison. And it was very important, I think, for my development as a person. And I'm glad I went, even if I don't use the degree for anything. And I did very well at the university. I graduated with a 4.0, and got the presidential Medal of Excellence, or whatever they call it. I got a bunch of different awards, and of course that came with like grants and scholarships and stuff that really paid for my college, which was already paid for by the army. So that money just went to me. I actually made more money going to school than my wife was making working a full-time job at the time, because I was just getting so many grants and scholarships because of how good my grades were. So you may wonder why I talked about all that. I just kind of let this flow, guys. I didn't really come into this with like any plan on what to talk about. I just wanted to do a vlog, be on camera, since I haven't done one in so long. And it ended up me being, telling my life story, I guess, or part of my life story to you guys, for those that are curious. So I hope you guys did enjoy learning about me a little bit. For future reference, if you ever have anything you'd like me to talk about in a vlog, for instance, maybe my experiences in the army, my experiences working as a correction officer, I could tell you guys some stories. You work at a prison, a maximum security prison, for 3 years, you're going to see some stuff. So I got all kinds of stories I could tell about that. But yeah, I want to do these vlogs more often. They're kind of a pain in the butt to do the vlogs, which is why I don't do them. It's not because I don't want to. It's just you got to set up all the lighting, set up the camera, and set everything up and get everything just right. And so that's kind of the reason why I don't do them very often, is just because it requires a lot of setup. Back in the day, I did it more often because I was using the webcam, rather than this 4K camera. And so it was just easier. It was just easier to set up. I didn't have the lighting, so it was much more low budget, but it was also much easier to do them, so I did them more often. Yeah, I think this setup right here is all right. Let me know what you guys think, because if this works, again, I don't know what it's going to look like after post-production and stuff, but if this works, then I'd be more willing to do vlogs, because I think this is an all right setup, and it wasn't too bad putting it together. I'm trying to do everything last minute since I'm going on that trip here, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. How you feel about the setup. I got a black cloth that I can put in the back, and it takes forever to set up. So as you guys see, I don't have it set up right now. We actually did a vlog in, I think it was January 2020. It could have been December 2019 though, I'm not entirely sure. But we actually did a vlog, and you'll notice that we never put it out, and I did it with HiJynx. And the reason why is because we were having sound issues. Right now I'm using the same mic that I used to record with. I'm standing right in front of the computer right now with the camera on a box, just sitting on a box, rather than the stand that we have. because that requires me to go way back there, and I can't use this mic that's hooked up to the PC. And so we had bought two different types of mics. You guys may recall we did a vlog a while ago with a boom mic, and it sounded horrible. The sound was horrible. We put that vlog out. I think that was a 2019 vlog, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been 2018 though. And we also bought some, I think they're called lapel mics. I might be mistaken on that. You know, they hook up to your shirt. We bought some of those, and we tried to use that for that vlog, which was supposed to be like our review of 2019, you know, where we kind of talked about the year, how things went on YouTube, how things went in our life. And we recorded that, and it was completely unusable because the sound was so terrible. Like in testing, the sound was fine. But once, you know, we actually did the recording and I started trying to edit the video, it was just unusable. Yeah, I just couldn't put it up because it just wasn't a good enough quality. So this setup here, while it's kind of ghetto a bit because it's sitting on a box or whatever, it wasn't that bad to set up. You know, just the two lights here, throw the camera on a box, and then I was ready to go. So if this works, if you guys think this is good and the editing, it turns out to be all right, then I'd be more willing to do vlogs like this. This is really not that bad, guys. So I'd be more willing to do this. So if you guys got any topics for future vlogs that you like for me to discuss, we could talk about history. Obviously, you know, I have 2 degrees. I have a BA in history. I have a BA in political science as well. So we can talk about politics. We can talk about history. Or we can talk about, you know, my life, the life experiences that I've had, whether it's working in the prison, you know, being in the army, my experiences at the university, which I don't know how much there is to talk about that. That'd be all that interesting. But yeah, I could talk about, you know, some of my life experiences. I know some of y'all probably would like to hear the story how Jinx and I have met. Jinx, if you don't know, if you watch my Hoi 4 content, don't watch anything else, or just watch the CK3 content or whatever, and you don't watch that P plus J content that we do together, you might not know who Jinx is. She's my wife and co-host here on the channel. She did not join us on the vlog here because she's currently busy taking care of a few things. She had to run a bunch of errands tonight. Again, we're trying to get ready for me to go. So unfortunately, she's running errands and she's not able to join us. It's a real bummer because it's been even longer since she's been in a vlog. And I know that she'd like to join us on one of these, so we can get her in the vlogs as well, and maybe talk about, you know, how we met. We've been married for 13 years now, so, you know, going on strong. Relationship is great. I know somebody asked for a relationship advice type of vlog. I don't know if we're qualified to give relationship advice just because we've been together for a long time. I don't know that what works for us would necessarily work for others, but whatever you guys want to hear about, you know, if I start doing more vlogs here in 2021, you know, new year, you know, we can do some different things with the channel, then, you know, feel free to post any suggestions. And of course, this is a gaming channel, so cannot forget about gaming. So we can talk about gaming topics, you know, from our favorite games of all time or whatever, you know, top 10 type thing. So I'd love to hear some topic suggestions for any future vlogs. If you enjoyed this, if you'd like me to do more of these, to be clear, this is a gaming channel. It's not going to become a vlogging channel, which I know some gaming channels, some very popular gaming channels, have in the past, you know, end up becoming more a vlogging channel. That's not going to happen on here, guys. This is a gaming channel. If we were to start doing vlogs more often and do them all the time, then that would be on like a separate channel. This is just something we do every once in a while, maybe once a month, if that, maybe once every 2 months or something like that. Just to get our face on camera so you guys have a face to associate with the voices. I know that helps, and kind of get to know who we are. Some people care about that. If you don't care about that, you don't have to watch the videos. But I know some people like to get to know the person that they're watching video after video with. I know I personally do. I have YouTubers I like to watch, and I enjoy learning about them. And I don't know, I find it helpful. It just kind of adds a little bit of context to who the person is. That's going to be it for this one. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to be recording another video right after this to discuss the trip that I'm taking to DC, why I'm going, because again, it's not why I think some people might assume, why I'm going, and just my thoughts on the current situation here in the United States and the political situation, and just kind of my view on things. If you're the type of person, and I say this whenever I mention our Discord and the political section of our Discord, if you're one of those type of people that can't handle somebody else disagreeing with you, it just breaks you all up inside, and you just can't handle that, which I don't understand, you know, people like that. But if you're that type of person that feels the need to like curse at somebody and slander somebody and throw out a bunch of insults at anybody who doesn't think the way that you do, you might not want to watch that video. You might not want to go to our Discord and go to the political section if you can't debate with people respectfully. So yeah, I guess that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful, learning more about me and seeing what I look like, putting a face to the voice. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and end it here. If you did like it, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. And of course, feel free to comment about whatever you want. But the two topics I'd particularly be interested in hearing from you guys on is one, what was good about 2020 for you? Let's get some positive vibes in here. Talk about what went well in probably one of the worst years ever. And then the other one is what you would like to see in future vlogs if we do decide to do these a bit more often. So go ahead and post those down in the comments below. Remember, there will not be any content on the channel after these two vlog videos until I get back from the trip. And I don't know exactly when that's going to be. I would imagine, and what you should just plan for, is that on Tuesday, which I forgot what the date is on that day. I think it's 26 or something like that. I might be wrong on that, but I think it's the 26th. Check back on the channel around that time. Not this coming up Tuesday, but next Tuesday after the inauguration. Hopefully we should be back with some content, and that includes some P+J content with Jace. Sorry that there hasn't been any content from that in weeks, and this is because we've actually had trouble recording Cyberpunk. A lot of issues trying to record that game. I tried recording on the 4K TV. You know, we're playing on PC, so I tried connecting it to the 4K TV. That did not work out at all for whatever reason. OBS just didn't want to record the 4K. Just had a lot of issues with it. It didn't look right. It was all choppy and messed up, and I don't know why. You know, it's probably asking a lot of the PC to be running OBS and Cyberpunk on a 4K TV with the settings fairly high. I tried turning them down, but that didn't really have that much of an effect. So we moved to the PC this week, because that was last week that I was trying to record on the TV. And so we moved to the PC this week. We tried recording on Tuesday, and I thought everything was going well. You know, I tested it. It looked fine. And then when I actually tried to edit the video, about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 minutes in, I don't know exactly how far it was in, but not very far into the video, the screen just went black. You could still hear us talking, but you couldn't see anything anymore. I don't know what happened there, but obviously that video was unusable. And then we recorded Cyberpunk again last night, and this time I did a full test. I tested for like 5 minutes of gameplay with commentary just to make sure everything was working out right, because I changed a few things in the settings. So I thought everything was good. But then again, I start looking at the video, and it didn't go to black screen. You can still see the whole video, and everything's fine in that regard, but it looks like trash. It just looks horrible. I don't know why, man. It just looks really, really bad. Now, we don't typically record on PC much outside of those strategy games, so it was kind of a new thing for me to record something that wasn't a strategy game. But yeah, I just don't know what the issue is. It kind of seems like it's Cyberpunk that's causing the problems. Because yeah, I went through all the settings. I don't know what it was, guys. That is going to be the end of the vlog, though. Again, I do hope you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait to return to making content next week. And again, thank you for all of those who have supported this channel over the course of 2020, whether that's through Patreon, you know, through PayPal, through Teespring, or just watching our content, throwing that like on, commenting, coming on Discord, talking with us. However you support the channel, I just want you to know that we appreciate you guys. Just so glad that we have this community. It's just such a great community, and I'm really happy with how things have developed, even if the channel is never quite as successful as you want it to be, of course. Overall, it's been a great time, and I'm going to be continuing doing it into 2021. So I'm looking forward to another year with you guys, even if, you know, 2021 ends up being like 2020, which kind of looks like that's the way it's going. I'm just really happy that we have this community. So thank you for all of those who follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, and support us. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. If you're going to watch that political one, then I'll see you there. Thanks for watching, guys.